I've been working in prairies and around prairies for more than 30 years. Almost every time I go out, I see something I haven't seen before. Prairies, for most people, which is a place that people don't think about very often, or they just walk past them or mostly drive past them without thinking twice. Close-up photography lets me take pictures of the things that are hidden in those prairies. It helps me get people excited about prairies or interested in an ecosystem that they wouldn't think about. Also, it helps me tell the story of what they need from a conservation standpoint, whether that's land management or just making sure that a prairie doesn't get plowed up or making sure that we take care of the landscape around it. My name's Chris Helzer. I'm the Director of Science and Stewardship here in Nebraska for the Nature Conservancy. I do a lot of things. I'm an ecologist and land manager. In addition to that, I'm a photographer and a writer, both for the Nature Conservancy, but also on my own. The Niobrara Valley Preserve is 56,000 acres of land that the Nature Conservancy owns along the Niobrara River. It is mostly grassland. There's a lot of sandhills grassland, but it also includes about 25 miles of river frontage. So there's a lot of different things here all in one place. As a scientist, when I walk around, I'm looking at things that I can quantify. I'm measuring how many flowers I see, or counting the species of plants or insects, or I'm looking at the way that our land management, like fire or grazing, is affecting the ecosystem or the plant communities. And then as a photographer, as soon as I pick up a camera, it opens up kind of a different world. There's a switch in my brain that flips, and now I'm exploring. I'm looking more artistically. I'm looking at light. I'm looking at composition. I see flies on a flower, or I'll see a grasshopper hiding behind a stem of grass. The grasshopper right here is called the sagewort grasshopper because its favorite food is sagewort. And it's the exact same color as the sage plant. In fact, even the texture of the plant and the grasshopper patterning is really, really similar. So you hardly ever see them when they're on the plant because they just blend in so well. But if you walk through a patch of the plant, then you can see them jump. That's the best chance to see them. All right, I either got it or I didn't. Thank you for being accommodating, little friend. When you see someone's face, you relate to it in a very different way, and it gives insects and other small animals like that a personality. It makes them a character that you can relate to. Hopefully, if I can show them face to face in their environment, that'll change the way people think about them. I don't think we even know how many insects you can find in a prairie. There are so many that we haven't discovered yet and named. And the populations go up and down so much year to year, they're really hard to study. People who never really stop and walk around a prairie are missing most of what's in there. And especially if you stop and just pause and watch, you see all these things that start to move. You see changes through time, whether that's through a day or across seasons. I've lived in Nebraska most of my life. I grew up in western Nebraska and then Lincoln. It wasn't until I was a sophomore in college that the idea of prairies in Nebraska really hit me. I was surrounded by prairies in my childhood. Even when I was in high school in Lincoln, I went fishing and I would drive through prairies. I would walk through prairies to get to the lakes that I was fishing in. And I just never paid any attention to them. So it's sort of become a mission of mine to get them into the mindset of Nebraskans, help Nebraskans feel proud about the prairies we have. Half of our state is basically prairie or some kind of grassland. We are known for some of our grasslands internationally. The livestock production we get out of them, the species that we are providing habitat for, I mean, that's part of who we are in Nebraska.
I really hope that when people look at my photos, they'll see what lives in a prairie. I hope that when they see a prairie or they think about a prairie, they're thinking about the photos that they've seen of mine that show grasshoppers, spiders, katydids, bison, and prairie dogs. They'll see what lives there, and then when they think about prairie, they'll think about all of those things.
I'm really lucky that I get to work in places that are really beautiful. What keeps me up at night is all the things that I haven't found yet. I'm sure I'll be really excited about photographing, and I get to find new ones every day, which means there's a long list out there still waiting for me to find them.